really sharp turn. This is what I'm talking about. This is not an experienced rider.
Welcome to Viral Twist. A man stole a bike but can't ride it properly. He's wobbling, turning wild, and cops are just watching from above like it's a live comedy show.
This possibly is a stolen motorcycle, and if it is a stolen motorcycle, that rider definitely came prepared, helmet and jacket. That vehicle, that bike that you see right there, is making his way now in the westbound lanes of the 210 freeway. It was on the surface streets for a little bit, but we were basically starting out almost in the Eagle Rock area and made its way out here to Pasadena, now turning around, coming back the other direction. Now you can clearly see that this motorcycle not driving too recklessly, which is a huge plus. My worry is basically for that rider, especially if it's stolen, because when you hear things like stolen motorcycle, you wonder, is this an experienced rider or not? That bike does seem to be kind of a little jerky, so I'm still not 100% on this person not being an experienced rider. As far as law enforcement, there's a helicopter above it. It's going to be Police 100. That is going to be part of the Glendale, Pasadena law enforcement community. And they did have ground units when it was on Colorado just moments ago, but now it's back on the freeway. I'm not sure if the California Highway Patrol is going to join the chase or not. Traffic, well, we definitely have a lot of it, but that might be a big plus for that motorcycle, or it may help that motorcycle get a little bit more distance between him and any of the law enforcement. Right now, though, it's basically just a motorcycle driving on the freeway. A lot of these folks that are passing and nearby it have no idea that this vehicle is wanted by law enforcement. It also makes me a little bit more worried because an unexperienced rider, even at freeway or speeds or traffic speeds, it's still a very dangerous situation. One wrong move and colliding with something. And now we're getting some more information from Melissa at our desk, who's always on it, is saying that it's had no license plates on it, and that's the reason why they tried to pull it over originally. Hearing that there is one black and white nearby, I don't want to lose that motorcycle, but you can see one of them right there. That is a Glendale unit. So that, you know what, honestly, that law enforcement may just be driving back to their location. They might have been told, don't chase this guy. Just come back to Glendale, and that might be what's happening right now.
Yeah, at the same time, you wonder, this person is definitely prepared with a helmet, if that's the case, and obviously safety is a precaution. The person was stopping at traffic lights, as we saw, so not too dangerous in terms of speeds as well. So I don't know if he's experienced or not. Maybe a little bit of experience on a motorcycle like that, but as you mentioned, when you pushed in, that the motorcycle is very unique and different. It looks outfitted a certain way, right, with no license plate either. It's not your typical motorcycle that you see day to day. Yeah, it's interesting to see if whether or not this driver is just out for a joyride, kind of saw that stunt bike and hopped on and took it for a ride now, or whether it's an experienced rider, as you mentioned, that would be doing more high speeds and tricks and weaving in and out. So we don't know, obviously, but the original want from the Glendale PD is the fact that this bike, this motorcycle, does not have a license plate. And so perhaps they tried to stop this person, pull him over, but didn't stop, and then this pursuit began. So right now we have been watching this for a few minutes at least, but this has been going on for at least 10-15 minutes or so, and it was going in the area of Pasadena and Old Town around Colorado. You said this driver went through Eagle Rock, but now on the 210 freeway or 134. Where are we exactly right now? Hopefully not going to involve more traffic and more innocent drivers not knowing what's happening. Obviously seeing this motorbike going in and out of the lanes, weaving and making those wide turns, very dangerous. But also you wonder what the options are for police officers, how to stop this person. You know, we obviously see a lot of pit maneuvers when it comes to vehicles and police chases like that in a pursuit of a vehicle, but in this case you can tell just how open and exposed the rider is, the driver of that motorbike, and how dangerous it could be, any type of maneuver. You saw that black vehicle behind him, that's a law enforcement official, tried to kind of cut off the motorcycle at one point as he was exiting the freeway, making a really wide turn, trying to kind of pit him. But you have to be so careful because of the fact that the driver's so exposed, only wearing a helmet, and any little move, any little fall, any little collision can really cause a lot of damage and injury.
Definitely, and that is, you know, you put into words all of my fears. I really mean that, Sandra. This thing is it just keeps going, and thank goodness it hasn't ended poorly. But still riding very erratically out here on these roadways, making our way in and out of the area. We're definitely still going to be. Now we're in Glazell Park, so LAPD might get involved with this. I'm not. And we have an LAPD ship actually over it right now. I don't know if they relieved Police 100, but you know, it's definitely wrong side of the road, and these higher speeds again. It's just so dangerous. And the most of that danger, like you said, is going to be for that rider. That rider is the one that's putting themselves in the biggest vulnerability for injury, and it just continues out here. But as far as law enforcement, that one law enforcement officer right there, you really got to give him props and really trying to do what he can to bring this to an end. And a lot of people might be like, oh, he's going to hurt that guy if he pushes him up against a curb or something like that. You know what? A skinned knee, a bruised ankle, compared to loss of life or just maybe even something like being a cripple, yeah, definitely to do what you need to do to bring this to an end. But right now that rider is still keeping law enforcement just far enough away. These speeds staying dangerously high for the rider's skill level. There's no doubt about that. And again, we just continue to watch them passing other vehicles, using the wrong side of the road, center lane, and even now running some red lights. It just adds up. The danger just clicking,
Yeah.
and you just don't want this to end poorly.
Definitely escalating a little bit here as we don't know the rider's intention, the driver's intention. Clearly we never know, but this comes to mind. I am reminded watching this because we don't often see the pursuit of a motorcyclist, right? So I have to say some of the worst pursuits, though, have been the pursuits of a motorcyclist. They end in a very, very bad way. Specifically, one that comes to mind is when there is a collision at the end of a pursuit and that person goes flying. And clearly you know what I'm talking about. You've done and seen a lot of these pursuits over the years, and those are the most horrific accidents that we've seen, the pursuit of a motorcyclist, especially depending on how it ends, right? It's never a good scene. So clearly we want to hope and that nobody gets hurt in this case, but clearly they are taking every precaution, right? Giving him a little space, monitoring the situation, but also the public needs to be safe and make sure that this person stays off the road.
And again, picking up some speed. But right now, no law enforcement underneath him. They do have a helicopter above him. But, that's the thing, too, is like a lot of times people are going to be like, oh, yeah, of course they're going to hear that helicopter. I have not seen this person with that helmet on. You got to think about that as well. Look up once. So I'm not sure why this person's still driving so erratically. I'm still very hopeful that it's something he's going to click and is going to be like, okay, I'm parking the bike, I'm on foot, I'm just going to try to hide. But right now, we can see it, keeping up those higher speeds, especially for downtown Los Angeles, and definitely kind of staying in that area where the government buildings are. We're very close to City Hall, police headquarters, and things like that. So we're going to keep an eye on it. And again, you said it earlier, Sandra, he's basically just making loops out here. We're making big giant figure eights on these streets.
Mm-hmm. How did he start it up? Clearly, we don't know also how long this is going to go for. Does he have a full tank of gas and where he's going at this point? But does he even know that he's being trailed? Maybe he thinks that he's free and clear and trying to figure out where to go. But
he could.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like, it looks like he's making some decisions here. It looks like we actually pulled into an apartment building. This is going going to be, what is the name of this? This is the one that caught fire a while ago. Picasso. Is it Picasso?
Oh,
I think it's the Picasso.
okay.
And
Right by the freeway right
it
there.
just made a turn. Yeah, he made a turn into that parking garage. So I'm going to stay a little bit wider, not for problems of him being injured, but to see if I see anybody running through the courtyard areas or acting unusual. That motorcycle actually had a helmet attached to it on the side, so I'm wondering maybe there was just like we were talking about, just convenient. But right now we do see law enforcement, but we haven't seen anybody making an effort to go into the building. So possibly they're getting the message that to the ground, to the units on the ground, it's not worth the chase.